What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the difference between a good comeback route and a bad comeback route. So we're going to be comparing the two. We did this video yesterday on a slant route, and you guys seem to really like it and get some value from it. So today we're going to be talking about a comeback route, okay? But first things first, fellas, if you guys want a day-to-day route running drill schedule, okay? So all the drills you need to be doing for 10 days, check out that very first link in the description, how to improve your route running in 10 days. It's 10 days worth of drills, specific techniques that you guys can do to become a better route runner. 45-minute long video, 10-day step-by-step process. Hope to get you guys on that soon. Again, very first link in the description for that 10-day schedule. Hope to get you guys on that soon. Like I said, let's get started. Very first link in the description. So we're looking at this comeback right here from Cornell Powell. So again, obviously a very talented receiver. Obviously, to be able to be getting ready for the draft, you have to have a lot of talent, right? You have to be a very talented dude. But we're going to talk about the difference between this first comeback and the second comeback that we're going to look at here. And then another third clip from a few years back, just of how you guys can really fine-tune those details. So let's watch the thing full speed. So you see when he comes off here, he runs this comeback and he takes a little bit extra steps to the top. But the thing I want to talk about is this acceleration out of the break and after what happens after that break point, okay? Because like, think about it. When you're running a route, and when you drop into a break, anybody can get to this point. I'm a firm believer that anybody, if you work at it long enough, that you guys can get to that position where you drop your hips, you bring your chin to your knee, you get in this explosive position, and you could drop suddenly, right? You could drop suddenly with a DB, whether it's off of a peek back, whether you're running an attacking zone coverage, whatever it is, I'm a firm believer that you can get to that point, right? So now, when we get out of this break, you see how he turns, right? You see how he's running out of it, he snaps down, and again, I'm not even going to necessarily critique that he snaps down with the outside leg, because that's the way you can do it. In my opinion, I think you should be snapping with the inside leg just simply because I think it's a good way to eliminate steps and you could get your hips around that like cone, if you will, if you guys run this with a cone a little bit faster. But outside leg, I'm not mad at that because it's a sudden drop, his hips are violent, and he's not giving any indicators on the route. Now, when we get to this point and you guys try to turn out of the break, right? Rather than run out of the break and accelerate like you're going down like this, like lane of energy, right? And you try to turn, you lose that explosion. So you see how when he breaks down here, he snaps and then he pops himself up and his chest pops up in the air. This gives that DB a little bit more time to react on this thing and drive on the break. God forbid I don't sell vertical enough and God forbid I don't drop down explosively. When you get to that explosive position, you guys want to use this explosion and you have to drive your arms so you can run out of this break, right? That's the difference between a good comeback and a bad comeback when guys lose it at the top of the break is that they'll break down right here. They'll have this real sudden drop, but that DB is able to recover. And because we're just jogging out of this thing, we're kind of cruising because I popped myself up. You guys want to use that explosion that you created at the top of the break. You want to be able to drop down. You want to be violent. Your hips or your feet want to be powerful. So when we hit this like hook leg right here, we can really shoot out. And you see how his hands are down by his side? That just takes away a little bit of explosion off of this third phase, right? Because we want to make sure that we really want to make sure that third phase is probably one of the most important ones, right? You obviously got that break point. You're trying to create energy, but then you got to use that energy to accelerate to the sideline. But you see how there's that little like pause right here. Now, a DB who might play this thing a little bit better is going to be able to drive on this thing and make a play. But because then you see how he has to lunge out for the ball. He has to go jump for it because the quarterback's expecting him to be just in and out of this break. And he's throwing it early. He's not waiting for us, right? So if we're in a situation where we're in more open field and he's running out of this thing, and let's say maybe the ball's a little bit late, whatever it is, that DB gets a quicker read on it. He's going to be all over this thing because I didn't create energy at the top of the break. That's the whole goal. You guys want to create energy, but use that energy to accelerate. So you got to keep your chest down. You want to run into the break and then make sure that we run out of the break. Obviously, a hell of a play. Made a good catch, dropped his hips violently, all that. But just that one little detail, that acceleration out of the break is what makes or breaks some guys on routes, right? So let's watch this thing again, full speed. So making sure that we create that energy and we don't turn. We don't pop your chest up and then have that pause. So now let's take a look at this route from Jeudy, right? So let's watch him here. He snaps, but you see how there's no pause right there. He's smooth in and out of his breaks, right? And Jeudy's one of the best route runners around, right? So obviously you're comparing him to just a whole nother level of route running when it comes to this guy. That's why he's so smooth, but that's also why you want to use him as an example because you see when he snaps down, it's the same kind of snap, but what foot does he go with? He goes with that inside foot, right? Snaps with the inside foot. Again, I'm not going to say which foot is wrong. That's just the foot that I teach my guys. I teach my receivers to go with the inside foot just because I believe we can get out of it smoother and more efficiently like Jeudy does right here. So you see how he snaps. Explosive position. This is the exact same position Powell was in the last clip, right? Nothing changes. Nothing was different about the snap, right? The snap was fine. Either step, that's cool. I'm cool with it. But that snap right here gets him into that position. Now, when we're here and we snap, and we get down violently. You see how his second step pivots him, right? So we're trying to get my hips turned down this lane. Third step hooks around, but look at his chest. Does he ever try to turn out of it? No, he stays down. He keeps his chest down throughout the break because you see how he wants to run in and then run out. And you see how when he comes out of it, he's down. When he snaps those eyes around, his chest is going forward. He's still running down that 45-degree angle. His chest isn't straight up in the air. He's not vertical. He's accelerating, driving off those cuts, and you see how his arms stay pumping. His arms never really stop. He just runs those hands the entire time because he knows that hand drive and that drive off your legs and snapping those eyes around with your chest in explosive position is what will accelerate you out of this break. It's all about being able to create energy at the top of it and use that energy to accelerate, drive your arms, pump your arms, and accelerate back down that line, okay? So that's a great job by Jeudy, making sure that he keeps his chest down on this break. So again, we want to get to this explosive position. Anybody can get to this position. If you train it long enough, you work on your hip flexibility, hip mobility, your explosiveness, whatever it is, all your route running, all those details, I believe anybody can get to this position. But what are you going to do after you get to this position? Are you just going to pop yourself up and just, okay, I had a great break and then cruise out of the break? Or are you going to be the guy that keeps your chest down, you keep those hands active, and you continue to run out of this break, and you make sure that we accelerate in a good pad level position? My chest goes forward. I'm powerful with my steps so I can create energy. You're not chopping your feet. You see when Jeudy runs this thing, when he drops his hips and he's violent right here, his feet aren't real choppy. He's not on his toes. He's heavy. Well, not heavy. Heavy's the wrong word, but powerful, right? You want to be powerful. Your hips violent. You're powerful with those steps because this step right here, this is the step that explodes you out. This is that create energy step because he's pushing off of that step, and that push turns into acceleration. Drive those arms, good pad level position, like I said. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great route here by Jeudy, cutting in stride, getting that explosive position, and making sure we accelerate off of the break, okay? I know this clip is blurry. I apologize for the blurriness of this clip, but this is the only angle that I was able to get of this clip. But we're going to talk about the acceleration out of this break because it's very similar to the first route, right? It's because, again, man coverage situation, but you see the difference. See how he's running back to that ball, and he doesn't have to lunge out for that ball. There's no pause at the top of this break, right? And what foot does he snap with? He snaps with that inside foot. So again, that's what we're talking about here. Again, apologize for the blurriness of the clip, but let's focus on the acceleration of this thing. So you see how he gets low. Snaps, he gets low. Second step pivots. Third step, he's here. But there's no pause. You see how his chest stays down and he's running out of it. He doesn't pop his chest straight up in the air. He's violent with his hips. He gets his pad level in an explosive position so he could just run out of this break. And you see how he's pumping those arms, driving those legs, using that energy that he created at the top to turn into acceleration to win the race back to this ball so he doesn't have to lunge out for it and so this DB doesn't have time to react. Anybody can make that DB shoot by being violent with your hips. No indicator, right? Being violent at the top of the break. But can you eliminate time spent at the top and can you use that energy that you created with your hip drop to accelerate you back to the ball? Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Again, just wanted to include that because I wanted to show you guys the difference between that pause at the top of the break and the acceleration out of that break, okay? All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, fellas, if you want to improve your route running in 10 days, a 10-day drill-specific plan and technique plan to improve all aspects of route running, just so you get that next step up, right? These videos are great, but getting to that next level off these videos, check out that very first link in the description. And if you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll see you guys next time.